Have you ever wondered what it'd finally be like to fight back against that one arsehole that picked on you 3 years ago? Well, we certainly did, and we sure as hell regret not fighting back when we had the chance. So why not relive those moments through some of our favourite cartoon characters? Today, we're going down a list of the most awesome moments where the weak character finally grew a backbone and fought back. Right, let's start with the one that's going to make half of you click off immediately. Fluttershy from My Little Pony. Friendship is magic. Now, hold on for a minute. Just put your pitchforks and brony accusations away for a bit, okay? We promise you no one at Not Fair Studios is into any of that brony shit. Anyway, if you've ever seen this show, you already know exactly what Fluttershy's whole deal is. She talks in a whisper so quiet that you genuinely struggle to hear her in a room that's completely silent already. And she gets scared of her own shadow, or other ponies' shadows. Or probably the concept of shadows in general. And it gets worse. She's a Pegasus pony, meaning that she's built to fly, but she's a complete nervous wreck when it comes to doing the one ability that she's born with. She's completely terrified of heights, and I mean completely terrified.
Just don't look down.
In this very episode where this happens, which is Dragonshy, Princess Celestia sends the main group up a mountain to politely ask a sleeping dragon to sod off, because his snoring is filling the entire sky with smoke. Fluttershy, being the group's expert on animals, is supposed to be their ace in the hole. Instead, she spends the whole climb being an active hazard.
My apologies. Not your fault.
They get to the cave and everyone takes a turn at convincing this thing to leave and fail successfully at it. Then, Rainbow Dash, in what I can only describe as the most Dash decision ever made, flies straight in and kicks the dragon in the nose. The dragon goes absolutely mental and starts attacking everyone.
Get out!
It's also worth mentioning that for the whole journey, Fluttershy had a genuine fear for dragons, but this is where she drew the line.
Not! I repeat, you do not hurt my friend! You got that?
And you'd think being able to lecture a mythical beast like a very disappointed mother is the extent of what she's capable of. Oh no, she also does this thing where she stares right through the soul of any creature. And that's ridiculous. And what's ridiculous is that it works in genuinely terrifying situations. But then again, this is a show about magical horses, so it's kind of fair. Anyways, she somehow stares down a cockatrice, which is a monster that can turn anyone into stone, to restore all of the damage it did.
Turn Elizabeth and my friend Twilight back to normal. And don't ever let me catch you doing this again.
Like, who would have thought that an absolute nervous wreck of a pony would be able to pull off something like this? Speaking of nervous wrecks, if we dial back to the nostalgic cartoons of the 90s, we have Chucky Bloody Finster, aka the kid with purple glasses and a chronic fear for every single thing around him. Like, seriously, this kid was scared of so many things. Adventures, clowns, that one guy on the oatmeal box for some reason, and for every adventure, he's always Tommy's best mate that acts pretty much as his voice of reason, or rather the voice of being a scaredy cat. And on top of all that, he's also the primary target of Angelica's bullying, has never had a mum, and is regularly dragged into situations that he wants nothing to do with. The lad never caught a break in life.
I don't know. I thought I had to go, and then I didn't. Now I do. Now I don't. Don't.
But everything goes to complete shit in Rugrats in Paris. So, in the movie, the whole gang ends up at Euro Reptile Land, run by a woman called Coco LaBouche. So, Coco is a lady who hates children and totally set her mind to marrying Chucky's dad, just to secure a promotion. And this is just the nicest description you'll get about her, because any other thing would probably get this video taken off of YouTube.
Take those wretched dust mops away. I will not have them ruining my wedding day.
But for this kind of thing, you'd expect that it'd be Tommy, of all people, to take charge, since you know he's usually the adventuring one. But no, Chucky's the one who decides to step up. Once he convinces Tommy and the others to escape from the warehouse where Coco's henchman, Jean-Claude, has locked them all up, they climb into a giant reptile robot, and Chucky leads the whole group stomping through Paris to Notre Dame to stop the wedding.
Hey, Chucky, I told you we could do it. Yeah, if we could just find the door.
Still, on the topic of old cartoons that we know and love, we can't talk about a character who's so much of a scaredy cat without mentioning Shaggy Rogers from Scooby-Doo. If I have to explain Shaggy's cowardice to you, I genuinely worry about the kind of childhood that you had. The man has one major catchphrase, and it's...
Zoinks! 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 Zoinks!
Thank you for that, Shaggy. Anyway, his entire character revolves around him being scared by monsters, having a massive appetite, running away from everything, and would rather be bribed along with Scooby to be the decoy of Fred's plan with Scooby Snacks.
Scooby Snacks won't work on me this time.
Would you do it for a Shaggy snack? A little something I whipped up?
A Shaggy Snack?
Yes.
But if you haven't seen the Scooby-Doo Legend of the Phantasaur movie, you are definitely missing out on the greatest cinematic achievement of the 21st century. Here's the setup. Shaggy gets hypnotized into being fearless whenever he hears the word bad. And just like every other cartoon we've seen a hypnosis bit like this in, it completely works. You'd think that he's just acting the whole thing out and still gets his ass beat when he gets into a fight, but no. This man goes standing toe-to-toe with a biker gang who are probably all 3 times his size at least. And when I mean he beat up every single person in that place, I mean he really went all out with it.
Say hi to your friends, punk.
And that's not all of it. He went on to be the ultimate badass in the show for a moment, riding a motorbike across a canyon like a proper lunatic, and even leading the gang through the caverns. But one word is able to take away all of his spotlight.
Get used to it. Come on, guys.
I guess we have no choice. Let's go.
When the gang is in the caverns and Daphne says, not bad. But not gonna lie, it was just painful watching them not able to say what is one of the most basic words in the English dictionary.
Sad? Dad?
Rad.
Cad? Tad? Pad?
After 50 years of watching this man scream and hide in anywhere possible, seeing him absolutely beat the shit out of people who were out to kill him has to be the most iconic thing in the show. But this has sparked one of the biggest debates about the character online. Many people believe that he could do all of that without the hypnosis going on. But the only thing keeping him his same old self was just his cowardly mentality. Well, either that or it's just his act, so no one can recognize his true power. Yeah, that seems like the right option. Moving on, our next character didn't throw any punches like Shaggy, or rather couldn't even throw a punch to save his life, but he did fight back with one hell of a scheme. Let's talk about Ed, Edd and Eddy, the show about 3 idiots trying to scam kids for jawbreakers. Among the cast of weirdos is Jimmy, and Jimmy's a disaster. He wears a dental brace that looks like a medieval torture device, and is best friends with a wooden plank. Wait, no, that's Johnny. Jimmy's best friends with a red-headed nuclear warhead named Sarah. Anyway, he's that guy in the cul-de-sac who's associated with flowers, dolls, and crying. Basically a picture-perfect definition of a wimp. And he is, by literally every single measure the show sets up, the absolute last person you would ever be worried about.
Murphy's Law, do your stuff. Ouch! My foot is broken, Howie. Jimmy?
In the episode, If It Smells Like an Ed, it's Friendship Day. Jimmy has organised the whole thing, which is one of the more lovely things to happen in the cul-de-sac. Until Eddie completely ruins everything by giving Jimmy an atomic wedgie in front of the entire neighbourhood.
Reach out and touch someone.
Whatever you say, friend.
I've been wedgied.
And Jimmy, this tiny, crying, brace-wearing kid, quietly decides that's enough. What follows is the most elaborate revenge plot that this show has ever produced. He steals Sarah's paintbrush to start the ball rolling. Then, he uses his own shoulder padding to wipe the mouth off of Johnny's plank and tucks the rag into Ed's back pocket to frame him. And finally frames Eddie by sticking a hockey stick through the giant papier-mâché heart that they made for the whole event.
What's your name doing on this stick, Eddie?
My name?
He kidnaps Johnny, ties him up, and covers the poor sod in jujubes, and at the same time made the effort to plant fake clues all over the place. And then for the finale, he somehow convinces the bloody Canker sisters to be his weapon of last resort, which is honestly the most terrifying part of any of this.
Looks like we've got some wanted men! Bailey said it! 200 kisses!
After all this time, the kid pulls off what could be one of, if not the most elaborate schemes of the Eds. And this is the same kid that could cry if the wind blows too hard or something. There's even the time that just a peg landing on his foot was enough to make him think it was broken. But even after all of that, he still got defeated by a single banana peel.
Don't mess with the best, suckers.
Well, that's all of his aura points gone after making a devious plot like that, but it's still a respectable move from the sly, harmless bastard that he is. But then there's Butters Scotch from South Park, who is quite frankly one of the most abused characters ever. His parents are just so obsessed with grounding him that they could ground him just for breathing the wrong way.
You had a nightmare. Turn around and get back in your room right now.
But Dad is gonna bust a cap in my ass.
Where you want to get shot or you want to be grounded?
And then there's Cartman, who uses him for every crime under the sun, which is honestly unfair considering the fact that Butters is just a sweet little kid who loves Bennigan's so much. But the Professor Chaos episode just shows that even someone as innocent as Butters can get fed up with everything he's facing. It all starts when the boys decide that Butters, who's been filling in as their temporary fourth friend since Kenny died for the millionth time, is just too lame to keep around. So they sit him down, tell him he's fired as their friend, and go off to audition replacements, while Butters goes home. But that's when he snaps. Butters goes through everything he's done for them, and somewhere in the middle of all of that, he decides he's absolutely done. So, he builds a costume out of tinfoil and a cape, and dubs himself Professor Chaos, and recruits a first grader called Dougie as his sidekick, called General Disarray, and delivers his speech which deserves to be heard.
From now on, I will dedicate my life to bringing chaos to the world that has rejected me. I will become the greatest supervillain the world has ever seen. Where I go, destruction will follow.
That speech would have gone perfectly if only his first act of evil wasn't switching 2 soup orders at Bennigan's. Look, it's Butters. The chaos he can cause is only proportionate to who he is, but the defiance is completely real. And after everything that they put that kid through, honestly, fair play to him. All right, before we continue, I need a quick show of hands. Who here remembers Over the Garden Wall? It's a show that a lot of people remember for being different, and on this list, it's pretty much the same. Others fight against bullies and monsters, but Wirt from Over the Garden Wall fights back against himself, and that makes his moment even more interesting to look at. Wirt is a teenage boy who catastrophizes literally everything. No, really, this guy can come up with the worst case scenario of you putting on your socks. So, he's convinced he's a social outcast, that when he ends up at a Halloween party that his friends are at, he stands outside because he's sure he wasn't invited. He's inside his own head so completely that reality barely gets a look.
There he is.
Wirt, we can see you, man.
Oh, hey guys. Totally wasn't spying on anybody. I was just looking for...
What's going on here?
And this ends up being relevant later because in the strange forest the brothers end up lost in, the main villain, the Beast, specifically targets Wirt. He goes after Wirt because people who surrender to hopelessness in the unknown get transformed into Edelwood trees, which fuels the Beast's lantern. And Wirt is perpetually one bad day away from giving up on everything. That bad day comes when their bluebird companion Beatrice betrays them, which makes Wirt completely shut down, fall into a frozen lake where he has to be pulled out. And while he's out of it, Greg, his little brother, walks off with the beast voluntarily to take Wirt's place. By the time Wirt gets to Greg in the finale, his brother is already in the process of being turned into an Edelwood tree.
Greg! Greg! Are you...
Wirt.
Oh, Greg.
Wirt. Oh, geez, the leaves are even growing inside of him.
The beast then makes Wirt an offer. Take the woodsman's place as the new lantern bearer. Keep the flame lit. And Greg's soul survives inside the lantern. And instead of panicking or agreeing, Wirt realises that the beast is too desperate for him to willingly make the lantern, rather than just taking it back by force, which means something is off. He manages to work out that the beast's soul is actually in the lantern.
Are you ready to see true darkness?
Are you?
Don't!
Wirt frees Greg, gives the magical scissors to Beatrice so her family's curse can be lifted, hands the lantern to the woodsman, who finally sees what's been happening all along and extinguishes the flame himself, ending the beast for good. Not the most boom pow take that you nasty bully moment out of all of the ones that we've put on this list, but it's definitely the most relatable, I guess. You may not be fighting beasts, but that urge to lay down and doom scroll can be too hard to resist sometimes. We see you, don't worry. And then there's Rick and Morty. One show that gets you scratching your head at half of Rick's jokes.
Morty! Boom! Big reveal. I'm a pickle. What do you think about that? I turned myself into a pickle!
But forget Rick, it's Morty we're talking about here. Rick's 14-year-old grandson who gets dragged through the multiverse as the sidekick to the smartest man in the multiverse. You'd think it's a pretty sweet gig, getting to travel throughout the infinite universes while fiddling with cool gadgets and awesome experiments. But Morty will be the first to tell you that it's definitely as good as it sounds.
Fuck.
In the season 3 finale, the Rickturian multi-date, Rick gets into a feud with the President of the United States that escalates into an all-out brawl inside the actual White House. Rick's ego against the President's ego. Nobody backing down. That's a pretty crazy sentence to hear out of the blue, but that's just the kind of shit that you see in this bloody show.
Son, you have a right to refuse his order, and I guarantee you're gonna die if you touch me, and there's no afterlife. Everything just goes black.
What was that?
Death.
What kind?
Instant.
There was no sound. He just died.
Yeah, terrifying. It's a terrifying thing to watch happen.
While this is happening, Morty quietly disappears. He calls Rick from somewhere safe and explains that he's stolen Rick's portal gun. His parents are back together. The whole family is in hiding, and there's nothing Rick can do about it.
I stole your portal gun.
What the fuck, Morty?
I told you I didn't want the damn selfie 800 times.
So where did you go?
I can't tell you. Rick, did you tell my mom she might be a clone?
No, I told her she wasn't.
Rick, the most intelligent being in the universe, is completely stuck. He has to go back to the president that he was just brawling with his tail tucked right up his ass, and ask for help finding his own family, and promise to leave the man alone from that point forward. He loses completely and utterly to his own damn grandson. There's other moments where Morty one-ups the bullies. There's the time he grabbed a bunch of Rick's shit and absolutely wrecked some kids looking to beat him up.
I thought maybe you were pussying out. What the fuck? Oh, the air's getting...
Bully him!
But this is the first time, arguably the best time, that Morty realised he doesn't have to be scared of some he himself has described as a self-righteous prick. That's the one that got us. And whenever we see these moments where people fight back against their bullies, it makes us realise that we can finally do it. We can finally battle the biggest issue that has plagued Not Fair Studios for way too long. We can finally clean up our goddamn off. If you believe in us, make sure to like and subscribe to show us some love. Cheerio!